Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Dracovin Empire. Are you ready to dive back into the world of Golarion, the world setting of Pathfinder role-playing game system? I hope you are, and if you are, grab it. I, your host here, Tantan Adventure, are going to open a gate, and we're going to gate our way in plane shift over to Golarion to visit someone. Yes, we're going to be visiting an individual that has been connected to a number of adventure paths, and is a major figure within the Golarion world. We're going to be visiting a nice woman named Ameiko. She goes currently by Amatatsu Ameiko, but was also known as Ameiko Kaijitsu. Yep, we're going to be meeting her today, maybe chatting with her, learning a little bit about her history, all those kind of things. If you're ready, grab my hand. The gate is open. We're ready to head to Tianzi, to Minkai, and to visit this one. Are you? Well, if you are, remember a little tip from your host here. Like and subscribe and the bell over, and maybe leaving a little comment over on the YouTube side. As we plane shift through the gate to Minkai, to Tianzi. Alright, now that we've arrived, well, after we've met Ameiko, if you want to learn more about her and her history, where would I go? Well, of course, Rise of the Runelords. The original adventure path from the Pathfinder role-playing game system is where she was introduced. And it does deal with a lot of her family, as we deal with here and talk about it. We're not going to go into too much in depth about what happens in that adventure. I'll go a little bit into it. Same with the second adventure, the Jade Regent one, which of course has the Brinewall legacy there, as the book I pointed out here. But basically, the Jade Regent adventure is the adventure path that is helping her gain the throne of Minkai as Empress. Yeah. The Sandpoint book down there, Light of the Coast, is also a very good book to look into stuff. And of course, TNZ World Guide, because why? It updates us on what's going on with her in the world. You know. So who is this woman? Here she is as Empress. She, as of our current year, she is still Empress of Minkai. Before she ascended to the throne in 4711, only 13 years ago, she was best known in the Parisian town of Sandpoint as proprietor of the Rusty Dragon, a popular tavern in town. She was an adventurer, daughter of a local businessman, basically owner of a tavern, helped out adventurers, was friend to the adventurers in Rise of the Runelords, and now she's the Empress of Minkai. Yeah. She's of Tianmin descent. If we were going to look at her class, it would be aristocrat, bard, rogue. She has a little bit of everything. She is now living in Minkai, formerly Sandpoint, worshipper of South Shellen, and from House Kaijitsu. So, it was a noble family from Magnemar that basically was the exiled Amatatsu family of Minkai. Ah! That's where she became the Empress. Yeah. Turns out when you get exiled, you change your name, when a bunch of people assassinate your ancestors, and kind of things like that. Just saying, and... So, yeah. And let's look at her... So, she is the only legitimate daughter of Jiku Kaijitsu and Atsui Kaijitsu. She has two half-siblings that we know of. A half-sister of both Amaya, which is on her father's side, and Suto Kaijitsu on her mother's side. And basically, for most of her life, she was unaware of her heritage as the surviving member of the Minkai, a status as the only legitimate heir to the Minkai throne. Now, her half-sister, I will mention here, technically has a say on the throne because it goes through her father's side, not her mother's side. Yes, her sister, just as a little note here, daughter of Lonjiku and a Chlaxian noblewoman in an illicit affair, and she is second in line to the throne of Minkai, but whether or not she knows that is unknown. Yeah. And there's not much of her story we know about, so I didn't really go too much into it. And the rest of her family is dead. We'll talk about it in the backstory. She is the last surviving member of the family, save for her half-sister. And her half-sister is aware of her, but not necessarily aware of her royal connections. While living in Spanpoint, Ameiko dodged several advances of suitors, which is the genesis of rumor that she had a secret lover, and she was unafraid to use magic that she has at her disposal around the Rusty Dragon, using spells like Unseen Servant, Charm Person, Cure Light Wounds, to keep her tavern running and in tip-top shape. That kind of shows you the kind of person she is. She's not afraid to use the abilities she has. Basically, we'll see in her backstory here in a second why she kept people honest. But let's dive into it. Ameiko the Adventurer. Ameiko, the proprietress of the Rusty Dragon, before she became an Empress. She was born in 4689 AR. Makes her 35 years old as of right now. So, Nonijiku supervised her, controlled her a lot, controlled whom he allowed her friends to be, filled her days with lessons in music, diplomacy, magic, academic studies. But despite this, she snuck into town to play with friends, explore old buildings. She was the only person who visited Sua at Surandark Academy, as basically Nonijiku ostracized due to his status as an Avor. Basically, her half-brother on her mother's side was a half-elf. It's, her mother's infidelity was very obvious there, while, the secret sister on her father's side was, kept a little bit more because not around. Yeah, her mother's infidelity was very obvious there. And so, Pseudo was definitely a little bit of an ostracized person, unfortunately. Pseudo's influence on Ameiko was notable, as Norotoro's absence, despite his nearly total absence of everyday life. In 4701, when Ameiko tried to reconcile her father and brother, Suto struck her in a fit of rage and prompted her abandon Sandpoint for a year of adventure, her first time adventure. She returned in 4702 to her mother's funeral, when she died, and partook in another heated argument with her brother over his overstated opinion that Nonijiku had pushed her to her accident. As Suto left town, Ameiko decided to stay in Standpoint to care for her father. Her brother basically, lost his only real relative, kind of had been a little bit difficult with sister, and just decided to travel himself, which unfortunately led to things we'll kind of talk a little more about. Then at 16, when life alone with her father and servants grew unbearable and depressing, Ameiko left home again, joined a group of adventurers, became good friends with Aldar Vishki, a young Herbresian man that was a priest of Shelter. In 4706, they were captured by cannibal clans in the Fogscar Mountains. During their escape, nearly everyone was picked off by the cannibals until only she, Adler, and Adler's brother, Sandru, survived. As they fled on a rowboat, Ameiko was bitten twice by the snake companion of the druid that led the cannibals. Adler pulled to safety, but himself was bitten and then consumed by the cannibals. Sandru brought her back to Sandru. So, of her adventuring party, only 2 of them survived, unfortunately. And it's a bit of a sad one. Of course, Sandru still is around in Sandpoint as of today. He's a caravan owner that works out of Sand. A month later, though, Ameiko got a snake tattoo, a memorial to Adler, who basically took a snake bite and basically sacrificed his life to save her. She spent what money she earned as an adventurer to buy the Rusty Dragon, her inn, and began to run that tavern for adventurers, and basically moved away from the manor of her father, basically leaving it to him and his servants. Then comes 4707, just a year after all this, and she lost her brother, her father, and her half-brother in a series of goblin runs in Sand. Rides the Rune Lord to check it out, but basically the brother got involved with some things, got himself killed, got the father killed. The goblins were also involved in that there. It's some pretty damning things for the poor woman. But she basically lost all the family she knew. She didn't have a half-brother, she didn't have a father, she didn't have her mother, she doesn't know about her sister at this point in time, as far as we know. So yeah, maybe she found out about it from something that her father left behind her. We don't know a lot. But we know she inherited the glassworks, which were the company of her father, but she closed it down. She focused on the Rusty Dragon, and was frustrated by rumors that the glassworks were haunted by ghosts and of the goblins' victims. So yeah, Sandpoint's been through a lot. Rise of the Rune Lords, Sandpoint's through a lot. Anyway, now we head to ascending to the Jade Throne. And here, I like her other look, which is the more modern look for her as the Empress. This is the picture that they have for her ascending to the throne in the the Jade Regent adventure. But in 4711, basically 4 years after the inheritance, her and a group of adventurers discover documents that indicate the great Taijutsu family legacy in Brinemoor. They discover the Amatatsu seal from its warding box and learn about the history of the Ameiko family. Her real surname being Amatatsu, and that she's the rightful surviving of Minkai's throne from a usurper, Soto Takahiro, that murdered the emperor, I'm going to butcher this one, Higashiyama Shiguri. After recovering her family's sword, Shujin in Kalisgar, they embark on a journey from Avastian through the Crown Worlds, the Forest of Spirits, to Minkai to help her reclaim her birthright. Early support of Minkai's populace, blessings of the previous emperors, she presented herself as willful ruler of Minkai and was accepted by the Jade Throne after defeating the Jade Regent and his cronies. Basically, the adventures of the Jade Regent adventure path. There you go. It's another adventure path that she's heavily involved in. She is pretty heavily involved in a lot of ways in the Rise of the Rune Lords. She's involved in here, even more so, and boom, she's Empress of Minkai. Now, from that, we do know a few things that have happened. As Empress, she's approved the opening of a Pathfinder Lodge, the Three Gates Lodge, on the island of Kayajima, off the northwestern coast of Minkai. And in 4720, we know she visited Absalom, participate in the Radiant Festival, where she saw as an opportunity to bolster trade and connections with other nations, as Minkai has also been trying to open up into the world. Hey, remember the main path line, there's two main trade routes that go in through Minkai, and one of them, both of them go through the nearby nation of Hongul, from Hongul, the Forest of Spirits, the path through there that they took, and then the one across the Crown of the World. So, trade that comes in TNZ, easily be diverted to Minkai. Just take a, turn from one trade route to another one before going down farther south, so opening up trade possibilities and connections with other nations, even also by sea too, really great. So she's been doing some very great things, and is, seemingly leading Minkai into the future as it is now. So, yeah. So, has been a lot of updates for her in Minkai? No, not anything major. We know a little bit from the TNZ World Guide, and that World Guide basically gives us the update. She's been doing a good job. So, Jade Regent was unpopular. She's popular. She did a good job of reclaiming her throne. There you go. There is our very nice woman here to talk about Ameiko. Ameiko is a very interesting character because she does appear in two adventure paths, and a major character in both of them. One of them is all about her, and all about her rising to power. And certainly because in Rise of the Rune Lords, you're stationed out of Sandpoint. The amount of times characters are visiting the Rusty Dragon, getting parties at Rusty Dragons, connecting to people at Rusty Dragons, talking with Ameiko, and certainly in the first adventure with the Goblin raids, does deeply deal with her. There's a lot going on, and the connections to it. So, yeah, there are two adventure paths that just deal with her heavily. I think that's why I wanted to talk about her particularly, because she is a major character that does appear in two adventures, and now is a world leader. Minkai has always been a little bit separated from the rest of TNZ because of the Forest of Spirits. It has allowed itself to develop a lot and not been conquered by any of the other nations. And now, in this kind of... It does have trade routes and stuff too, so it's not disconnected completely. But now they're opening up to the world a lot more and becoming another power in the world. Is it going to be a major power? No. But probably not. But certainly speaking, it is going to be another world power that's out there. And I think Ameiko wants to do that. She wants her nation, her homeland, which, she has come to probably embrace and enjoy, to have a lot more connections to the outside world, to have that trait, to grow more powerful, to feel strength. She respects her home in Magumar, Sandpoint, stuff like that, places that she was born. She probably has deep connections to there. But, there's a lot of things that she has connections to. And I think her time as an adventurer, where she lost so many of her friends that she traveled with in a horrifying way, has shaped her in a lot of her ways of what she knows is important and things. And she makes her very interesting. And one that I want to have. We'll leave that there. I hope you enjoyed diving into her. I wanted to talk about another character, and I like talking about some characters, and I found that she was a very interesting one to speak about, because I was thinking about one that was a world leader that would have been dealing with this. And these world leaders that are dealing with adventure paths, I think, are very important ones. And this one, dealing with multiple ones, yeah. But anyway, if you want to check out more of my stuff, I have a schedule that goes up on my social media. That's my Discord, my Blue Sky, my Twitter/X, and over on my YouTube in the community page. I let you know when I'm going live and streaming, whether it's games or tabletop stuff, or I'm uploading stuff on YouTube, what the schedule for that will be for the week. I usually put out, again, videos pretty much daily over on YouTube side, so if you want to check out more stuff, all kinds of tabletop-related things, those are usually pretty exact schedule, just might change because of video issues. On the side of the Twitch side, you want to check me out doing some gaming or doing some other stuff. The schedule there usually gets updated by me on my social media if I need to change anything or move around the hours. It's a little less exact, just because busy life stuff. But yeah, generally speaking, it gives you a good idea about what I'm doing and what days. But again, keep an eye on that social media for updates and stuff on that one at the very least. I'm trying to make that a little bit more instant. Me fixing my schedule. Hey, it's a curse of it. Remember to check out any live plays I've done. I've done adventure paths from Pathfinder. None of the two that I mentioned today, but I've done other ones. I have played personally a lot through Rise of the Runelords, but that's not on screen. I also have done D&D 5e and World of Darkness that I've had up. So if you want to check out those old ones, currently don't have one going on the time in this video. Discussing Tabletop Saturdays at 6. Check that out. The news of the week, deeper discussions and stuff like that. And I think that's about it. Hey, I hope you enjoyed joining me. I enjoyed diving into Golarion, learning about stuff, talking with you about it. Sort of like I knew a bunch about her, Ameiko, because of my time with Rise of the Runelords, but diving into and learning more about her history and stuff like that was beyond what I knew from that adventure, and stuff linking up to things like the Jade Legion adventure was fun. And what's going on with her now. And I wanted to talk about this. So I hope you enjoyed learning. And until the next time we dive into this or something else, I bid all of you out there a beat and one. Farewell.